late 2011, Channel 4 within the United Kingdom commissioned the series of Black Mirror, a dystopian, science fiction-based series with nearly every episode depicting the current or hypothetical future times with a dark, sadistic, or of a melancholic nature. A second season was commissioned in 2013, and once again being broadcasted on Channel 4, before the third season was transferred to Netflix. And from there, the series received an international audience. While the series received critical acclaim for the highly concentrated screenwriting depicted in each episode, the series only had a British audience at the time before being put onto Netflix. And after being put onto the Netflix platform, the series gained massive popularity and exposure within the United States. However, in Series 2, Episode 3, the Waldo Moment was considered to be the least liked out of the original British series prior to the distribution through the United States Netflix streaming service. Upon rating websites from within the United Kingdom, the episode had the least amount of views when originally broadcasted when compared to the premieres of other episodes being broadcasted for the first time. The particular episode was that of a comedic show within the United Kingdom, had a voice actor by the name of Jamie Salter playing the computer animated character of Waldo, a rude, vulgar, and often disrespectful computer animated bear who had often interviewed public officials within the United Kingdom under the premise of a children's television show. Waldo's show eventually gained the attention of a minor conservative politician, Liam Munro, who filed a complaint against Waldo due to the context of an interview he had with Waldo. Meanwhile, Jamie is at a rough time in his life, and a producer of Waldo's show by the name of Jack Napier casually mentions that Munro is running in an election to become a member of parliament, and that considers the idea of using Waldo to try and affect his chances of getting into office. Proceeding to the location where Munro is campaigning, Jamie, acting as Waldo, provokes him into a confrontation, while a woman by the name of Gwendolyn Harris has been chosen as the Labour Party's candidate in the constituency, although the area's seat is considered safe for the Conservatives. Gwendolyn and Jamie eventually meet up for drinks and later get drunk together. They both vent their frustrations, and Jamie mentions that he hates acting as Waldo, and Gwendolyn mentions that she probably won't win the election. After being intimate, the both of them actually decide to start a relationship together. Eventually, Waldo and the other candidates are invited to a gathering in which Munro mentions Waldo's unsuccessful career as a would-be children's show host, and mentions that the very concept of Waldo being a fictional character within real-life politics is absolutely absurd. Jamie decides to attack both Munro and Gwendolyn as career politicians, and even mentions information that Gwendolyn had spoken about to Jamie during their intimate encounter. Waldo's role during the interview is later recorded and is posted onto YouTube, where the video goes viral and popular support slowly builds for Waldo. Jamie clearly has enough with the whole experience and was disgusted at himself for the rant, and decides to give up acting as Waldo. But Jack later threatens Jamie to continue as Waldo, otherwise he himself will act as Waldo due to Waldo's voice being synthetically created, and technically any person can quote-unquote act as Waldo. Jamie reluctantly continues as Waldo, as Jamie meets up with Gwendolyn to apologize, but she refuses to accept it. Due to the viral video, Jamie is actually contacted by United States governmental authorities, who mention to him that there are plenty of advantages of a cartoon-based figurehead when compared to an actual person promoting propaganda or encouraging ideologies, as Jamie is actually disturbed by the realization of what Waldo is becoming. The next day, during a campaign trip, Jamie is giving a speech as Waldo, but decides to break character and pleas for people listening to the speech to not vote for Waldo. Jamie is removed from acting as Waldo, and Jack, posing as the new Waldo, encourages civilians to attack Jamie, which actually happens. Later in hospital, Jamie watches the results of the campaign, as Monroe wins the election, as Waldo was in second place and Harris in third place. It's hinted out, though Monroe won the election, popular support possibly remains with Waldo. In the final scene of the episode, a homeless Jamie moves throughout a city center and is forced along by police. Waldo is speaking in different languages across different television screens. On the whole, setting feels like that of an authoritarian state, as it's mentioned that Waldo now controls everything, possibly globally, besides the United Kingdom, and Jamie throws a piece of rubbish at a screen depicting Waldo, and police beat him as a result of his actions. The episode was written by series creator Charlie Brooker and originated from staff ideas or inspirations from politicians as well as comedians in the British political and social scene of the early 2010s. Early criticisms came from the fact that the details of the episode seemed rushed or disjointed from scene to scene, or details connecting to one another as the episode progressed. In the years since the episode was originally broadcasted, critics and commentators have mentioned that though the Waldo Moment lacks substance, what was once considered madness in terms of what a politician can say or do while in public office, regardless of country, has significantly changed. Waldo as a character and his blunt or even hateful commentary on political rivals or institutions, or even situations, have been connected to Boris Johnson within the United Kingdom, Scott Morrison within Australia, Donald Trump within the United States of America, as in these examples, the concept of Waldo had actually occurred in real life. A character could be overrated yet hated because at the time no one would have imagined that it would have occurred in real life, but when it did, no one would actually believe it.